turning this on. Okay. The nationwide partnership. Give me some details about how it came to be, how long in existence, how is it going?
We've been at this for a couple of years, Sandra, and it's going extremely well. We could not have imagined a couple of years ago when we started this tour that the economy would be in the shambles, quite frankly, that it's in. I was saying to somebody yesterday, though, if we could have predicted that the economy would be in this shape, we could also have predicted that black folk would be at the bottom of this economic rung. Because that's always the case. I've said many times, and it's not a Tavis Smiley original, but when white America gets a cold, black America gets pneumonia. And so here we are now on this tour with black people just catching hell, quite frankly. And so the timing of it couldn't be any more propitious. And so I'm glad that Nationwide has committed itself to doing this. What's also important, I think, for people to understand is that every company I know in the country is cutting back on its commitments. The economy has hit everybody, and everybody's cutting back on their commitments. And there was a part of me that was braced for Nationwide to call me and tell me we're going to kill the rest of this tour because our money's tight, and everybody's looking for ways to cut. And you couldn't altogether blame them if they have to keep their company afloat and they start cutting various things. So I was somewhat braced for them to call and to say that they were going to pull the plug on it, but they didn't. They've kept their commitment to it, and so they're here and I'm here, and the tour has gone remarkably well. It's really about helping people with financial literacy, giving them the information they need to help them make better, wiser, more sound choices about their money. And so the tour is going remarkably well. We're sitting in Sacramento now, so as a Californian, I'm glad that we could put California, Sacramento specifically on the tour schedule. We've got Charlotte, North Carolina, and Charleston, South Carolina left this year, but it's going very well.
You know, I think that being in Sacramento is certainly no accident, and the seat of the state's capital, where our government is just, oh my goodness, there are no words that come to me immediately. Is there going to be an effort to reach out to the governor's office to make sure that African Americans in particular find themselves healthier financially before?
Separate and apart from the Nationwide tour, this tour really is about the people. In terms of the issues regarding the state of California specifically, I've had a chance through my other means, through my radio show, through my television show, through personal meetings with legislators. Karen Bass, the Speaker of the California Assembly, is from Los Angeles. I get a chance to talk to Karen often. So I've had a chance to express those issues, to ask the hard questions, and to feature those persons both on my, again, TV show, my radio show, as well as the State of the Black Union. Karen Bass was on that panel earlier this year here in California and Los Angeles. So I've had other opportunities to express those issues.
You know, these are murky waters. We talk about financial institutions, insurance companies, things that are and things that are not. And one would be beyond courageous to want to take this on now. I'm just curious to know, are you getting more comfortable with facing the wind rather than having it at your back?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a good question, and I suspect that comes in part because there's been some talk of late. You know me for years. I don't run away from these things. There's been some talk of late about the drama, disappointment that Wells Fargo has been for a lot of African Americans. And I, have not unlike most entities, organizations, individuals who are doing something in black and brown communities, because Wells Fargo has been an industry leader. A lot of folk have partnered with Wells Fargo to do a lot of things over the years, a lot of good work. We will see where this lawsuit goes, but it appears that Wells Fargo has done some things along the way that were not in the best interest of African Americans, specifically other people of color who wanted to become homeowners. And let's face it, owning a home is still, as bad as the economy is, the surest way to get on the road to building wealth. And so I'm here with Nationwide today because I believe in this message of the salvation, quite frankly, of financial literacy, of having the information you need to make good choices. I'm pleased again with this partnership with Nationwide, and I'm never going to stop doing my part to try to express to people the interest they ought to take in their money matters. But there are times when you find yourself in situations that aren't the most comfortable. What I've said to people about this, and there's a statement on my website about it, what I've said to people is that my role, again, is to talk to people about, to give people information they can use to make better choices. We're going to continue to do that, and the Wells Fargo thing will take care of itself. I've never been a spokesperson for any company. I'm not a spokesperson for anybody now. My job is to get on the road, to get the information out, and that's what we're doing.
Whenever entities start to form, it seems that the African American community is always a stepping stone to wherever they go on to be. I have concerns about that, as do many. How do you, being the person that you are, insist that we are not a stepping stone, but we are all the way through the process, through success, that we are present?
We live in the most multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic America ever. And the bottom line is that any company, nationwide included, and they understand this, which is why we're on this tour together, any company that thinks that they can avoid reaching out to, avoid super serving communities of color in this country is one day going to find itself in bankruptcy. It's just that simple. You cannot survive in America today if you're going to avoid reaching out to, serving the consumer base that happens to be people of color. So I don't even think it's a matter of just doing the right thing, although I think that's part of it. If you want to stay in business, it makes economic sense. It's not just because, trust me, I love people at Nationwide, but they ain't here just because they like black people. They're here because they like making money, and I understand that, and they understand that. And you can't make money if you're not about the business of serving people that need to be served. And so I think that people are slowly but surely, maybe even some fast, becoming aware, again, that they cannot survive, much less thrive, if they're going to ignore communities of color. So I think that people are starting to realize that black folk and brown folk are not stepping stones to success. They are the core, they're the foundation of a company that's going to be successful in the 21st century.
Speaking of capitalism, Michael Moore's documentary.
I just talked to him this week,
I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the documentary.
Yeah, you like it?
I very much, more so than I thought I would have.
Yeah.
I think there's no accident that we're having this conversation about financial literacy and what that means. Michael has become this one-person entity who leads the charge in this area. You have become a one-person entity who leads the charge around community advocacy and African Americans being empowered. Do you see the parallel between the two of you?
It's funny you should ask that, because I saw Michael this week. We taped a show that's going to air in a few days on our TV show. He was in L.A. and we had to connect while we were both in town. I've been moving, he's been moving. So we taped the show the other day. And interestingly, even though our work parallels, we actually had a little rift the other day, which you'll see on the TV show. And it really revolves around the fact that I love this documentary. It's a great piece. Capitalism, a love story. I love the title. Love the project. And Michael's a courageous guy and a friend. But we got into a little bit of conversation. If you go to YouTube, we put this clip up on YouTube already. But we got into this little back and forth thing about the fact that Michael was acting a bit naive about the fact that the Obama administration, I'm paraphrasing here, Michael's belief was, after dogging the system and dogging Republicans and everybody else, he then goes into the spiel about how, but the Obama administration is going to turn all this around, et cetera, et cetera. And I let him have his say. And of course, I want President Obama to be a great president. I've said that any number of times. What I had to make him recognize and admit, he knows it, but I had to make him admit it, is that the same people who Michael in the film accuses of starting us down this, trajectory into hell, quite frankly, economic hell, with regard to our economy, the same people who started that were the people who were working for Bill Clinton. Clinton in his second term, with the people around him, started this deregulation process that everybody now acknowledges got us in the mess that we are in. It started with deregulation. Those same deregulators who were working for Clinton are now working for Obama. He hired the very same people. Larry Summers, Tim Geithner, the Robert Rubins of the world, the same folk who were connected to the Clinton administration are the same people running Obama's team. So again, I want him to turn this around. And Michael's point finally was, well, maybe the people who got us in this mess are the people who should be getting us out of it. I said, that sounds more like the fox guarding the chicken coop. But we'll see where it goes. But it's going to be a great conversation on the show in the coming days.
And participants at this particular event, what can they expect to walk away with that becomes a useful tool for them within the next 30 to 90 days?
It's a powerful question, and I think the answer varies for everybody here. What's great about this tour is that there's so much information being shared, so much information being imparted to people who come, because there are different workshops, there are different questions, people have different circumstances and conditions. Again, my job is to try to help Nationwide be a conduit to bring the people in. I'm no financial expert. I'm asking Nationwide questions like everybody else, trying to get my stuff together. But the experts are here, and so it's really just a matter of me, with humility, trying to be a magnet, to draw people in. again, to give them information that can help them make better choices and live better and more sustainable lives. And that's why we're here, and I'm glad you came to see us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sandra.